Hello YouTube, this is a Satsu5 and this is going to be a vlog video. I filmed a long vlog video and I decided it was too long and I wanted to have each subject in its own video to make the video shorter and more enjoyable to watch. If you can call vlog videos enjoyable. But basically I'm talking about guns and kukris and Nepali pride and stuff. And in this video I want to talk about kukris and Nepali pride. In my Battle Blades video, where I put a kukri machete versus a Nepalese Himalayan imports kukri, I get a lot of hate on that video. And it's because in this video, a $20 kukri machete outperforms a Nepalese kukri. And I get several things thrown at me. One, I don't know how to handle kukri. Two, that's not a real kukri. Stuff like that. And I respond to these comments. And even in the video, I say I'm only using the weight of the kukri to test how good of a cutter it is. And but I reiterate in the comments, I say, well, anybody can chop through bamboo with a big knife. If you swing it fast and hard enough, it's going to get through the bamboo. But that won't teach us anything. That doesn't show us any data points. If I get two knives and cut bamboo with them, all it shows is that they both can cut bamboo. But if I use the weight of the blade, and which the kukri from Nepal should have more momentum, but if I just use the weight of the blade and cut, and the Nepalese kukri cuts that deep, and the kukri machete cuts that deep, then that shows us that one cuts better than the other. One has a better edge geometry than the other. And unfortunately for Nepal, a knife that has a edge bevel like that doesn't cut as nearly as well as a knife that has an edge bevel like that. And this video was not biased. I was not biased. I did not want Cold Steel necessarily to win. Why? Because I spent a lot of money on that kukri. I would much rather the more expensive knife to outperform the cheap knife if I'm spending my own money on it. And so that's why I handled the kukri in the way that I handled it. I know how to handle a knife. I've been handling knives for years. I've been part of the knife industry for several years, both as a consumer and also just talking to the people in the knife industry, for as the presidents of the company and other enthusiasts. So I know a good bit. I'm not I don't claim to be an expert, but I know a legitimate amount of information about knife blades. It's a hobby of mine. I study it. I'm pretty knowledgeable on it. The guy said that it wasn't a real kukri that I was using, because real kukris perform way better than the Himalayan imports. And I responded by saying, well, if Nepal is so offended by their own craftsmanship, then maybe they should set some kind of standards for kukris to meet in order to be called a real kukri, or to be called a Gorkha kukri, or a Himalayan kukri, or Nepali kukri. Maybe they should have some kind of standards like the Cuban cigar industry, the Scotch whiskey industry, the champagne industry, the Ligule knife, the Cero knife, tequila, all those different products, they have standards that they have to meet in order to be called what they're called. In order for it to be in order for something to be called tequila, it has to be made in Mexico and it has to be made out of blue agave. In order for something to be called Scotch, it has to be made out of certain materials and fermented in Scotland, and single malt has to be made out of one barrel. It has standards that has to be made. Just like with British guns, in order for a British gun to be sold, it has to be proved. And basically, with the proving process, if you get a really hot or overloaded bullet, you shoot it in the gun, and if the gun survives, it gets a proof mark. It's where we get the term bulletproof, because the proof that a piece of armor was bulletproof was the little indentation that the bullet made, and that was its proof mark. So, same concept in American guns. When an American gun is made, and they shoot it with a very hot cartridge, or they shoot a really hot cartridge out of it, and then they put that cartridge in the box with the gun, so you know that the gun will stand up to shooting. So if Nepal is so offended by their own craftsmanship, and I get that Nepal isn't like a world power or anything, so it might be difficult to enforce, but if they made the kukris have to pass a certain test or meet certain criteria in order to be called a Gorkha kukri, that would protect their interest, and it'll make sure that the authentic kukris are reaching the people who want to experience the authentic kukri. But I will tell you, out of all the kukris I've handled, whether it be Himalayan Imports, Kukri House, whatever company made the kukri, and the flea market that I visit, most of them have very thick spines and very thick edge bevels. And it's just physics that a thinner edge is going to be sharper than a thick edge. It's going to cut with more ease. And I'm not saying that heft is a bad thing. A little bit of heft can be a good thing, but the edge bevel doesn't need to be this thick. So, and distal taper also helps. So that was my proposal, was that maybe if they gave the bladesmith some standards that they have to meet in order for their product to be sell as authentic kukri, maybe that would help the situation. Because I bought the Himalayan Imports because I was told that it was the second best kukri you can get, and then the other company, which I can never remember how to pronounce the name, it's like Toro or Tiro or Tora kukris. They're supposed to be the best. They didn't have any in stock when I was shopping, so I bought a Himalayan Imports because they're supposed to be the second best. But trust me, I thought that test through, and I really wanted the more expensive knife to perform better, but it didn't. So that's it. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.